Okay.
Not the.
As the world evolves, there becomes a wider availability to the internet. It can be very difficult for parents to protect their children and young teens from the content found on the internet. The things that can be found include violent content and sexual content. Hi, I'm Laila Harris, and my question is, to what extent does the Internet of Things affect a child's growth? My claim is that there are two main issues that align within how the Internet affects children, which are violence and sexual content found on the Internet. Multiple studies, including one by the Seattle Children's Research Institute and the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, found a correlation between simulated violence, often found in popular video games, and heightened aggression. Exposure to violence was found to make children and teens more likely to argue with peers or teachers and less empathetic and impacted by actual violence. Violence can cause many things, especially when it is seen as okay in many different environments for teens and children. This is tied to video games and it being normal for there to be violence in it and displays it as a win. This can cause future issues with the child's growth and development due to confusion with the actions tied to violence. Exposing a child to violence in the world has many consequences, such as desensitization to others' pain and suffering, being fearful of the world, and violent crimes that are covered on the news. Fear is something everyone has in life, but how we gain it is the true question. It can truly be difficult if a child gains it through observing, especially because it can cause them to gain a fear of going into the real world and growing as a normal human being. In media, children, and the family, Jen Jennings Bryant and Stephen Rockwell reported the results of their studies that investigated the effects of exposure to sexual content on television. They found that such exposure affects adolescents' moral judgment. Sexual content can be a very touchy subject, especially when it comes to children in the younger age group. In many films, you may find a sexual scene that most parents try to hide from children, but this can be hard, especially with the amount of internet that children have access to. Watching sexual content can cause confusion on how that child believes they should be viewed and causes future issues when going through stages of puberty. Moving forward, we can't forget about the major positive side used for children on the internet. However, tech-savvy early educators agreed that touchscreen and tablet revolution may be as important as educational discovery as a chalkboard. There are a myriad of fantastic apps for kids ranging from 3 to 8 that focus on literacy, writing, and basic number sense. It seems that the educational apps are less well suited for teaching more advanced cognitive skills related to comprehension and interpretation. Children having access to education from home has become a huge success over the years. It's a great way to help your child understand better and give them a higher level of learning. One major platform used for education would be ABC Mouse. Over the years, this has become a great platform for young children to learn skills on and become better thinkers. Although this plays a huge part in education, the internet can still be very confusing for a young child to understand and cause growth issues. This is why it is so smart to limit them to only using the internet for such things as educational purposes. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do have two questions for you. First up, let's talk about your research question itself. How did it evolve as you went through this entire process?
It evolved, as you can see, through the entire process. It evolved because it let me be able to go through each and every level of the internet and find out ways that it really does affect how a child thinks. There are many things that children go through due to the internet and finding certain things. So it brought in my my own thoughts on the views of the internet for children.
Okay. And what advice would you have for somebody that would be doing this in the future, this topic in the future?
Be careful if you do choose a topic like I chose on violence and sexual content, be very careful how you approach it, because it's a touchy subject if you approach it in the wrong way. And there are many other ways that the internet can affect children. So don't like think too much in the box. Think outside the box.
Okay.
You know what yeah.